So the reason I'm bringing you a message like this today is the same reason I'm bringing it to me is good night. We ought to cover some of these bases again. Go back to the fundamentals, understand who God is, who our relationship is with God. Because once you know who God is and his relationship with you, what a blessing that could be. You stop listening to all the media. Stop getting all depressed about what's coming down. Focus more on who's in control of the whole thing. In verses 13 through 16, let's read about our making. The message is wonderfully made. Verses 13 through 16. For thou hast possessed my reins, thou hast covered me in my mother's womb. That's a long time ago, isn't it? He protected you. I mean, I've heard of mothers falling out of buildings, off the back of motorcycles, and that baby just bounced around. No miscarriages or nothing. I mean, you know, just, and you ask the doctor, well, they're in that water, and they're in that, it's like a, you know, baby's probably having like a, I don't know, one of them rides. You know, and the baby's okay. Mother could have a broken leg and have all sorts of things, but that baby's protected. God designed that mother's body like that, to protect that baby. And all of us used to be a baby at one time. Believe it or not. You may not think so. Some people, you think they come from another planet. Maybe that's true too. But I'm telling you, according to my Bible, that's what it says. So the Bible says, cover me in my mother's womb. I will praise thee, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. And that's our text. Marvelous are thy works, and that my soul knoweth right well. My substance was not hid from thee when I was made in secret and curiously wrought in the lowest parts of the earth, you know, dust to dust. Verse 16. Then thine eyes did see my substance, yet being unperfect, and in thy book all my members were written, which in continuance were fashioned, when as yet there was none of them. What do you mean? God's in control. We're wonderfully made. That's what it means. Wonderfully made. Now, quoting from a book, naturally, because I have to do that to borrow brains, the evolution book that we pass out here, that handbook, and somebody says, oh my goodness, I can read that myself. So go ahead and read it yourself then. Most of you didn't read the whole thing. Probably got it somewhere in there. Didn't even read it. Put it in your library and say, yeah, I got it. I'm smart. But I'll quote from pages 959 all the way to 63. As we consider all these things, consider what the Lord said in these verses right here, and about what this book says, I'm about to read. Keep in mind that all of it happened when two cells that had an ability to divide and change into any random source decided to produce an exquisite, interconnected complexity we call our body. And that's what they forget to do. If you ever listen to PBS and all that Nova stuff, my goodness, they sound really good. They use really big words and they're convincing words, and if people don't have an alternative to that, they don't show the real arguments to that, they're taken up with it. And they'll believe it till they die. We're not going to believe that junk till we die, amen? But just listen to this. Muscles and bones. In addition to more than 100 joints, the adult human body contains approximately 650 muscles. An adult has 206 bones, all of them perfectly proportioned for the work they must do and nicely connected to tendons and cartilages. Yeah, that's your walk around right now, sitting here with. A baby has 300 bones at birth, but 94 of them fuse together during childhood. For supporting weight, a human bone is stronger than granite. A block of bone the size of a matchbox can support 10 tons or 4 times more than granite can. That's impressive. Yet that massive strength is needed for pounding and lifting. How about your heart? I know about that today. The heart beats more than 2.8 billion times during the average human lifespan, and in that time it will pump around 60 million gallons of blood, the fluid of life, even during sleep. The fist-sized heart of an adult pumps almost 80 gallons per hour, enough to fill an average small car's gas tank every 9 or 10 minutes. It generates enough muscle power every day to lift a small car about 50 feet. Your pulse, the average pulse rate is 72 beats per minute at rest for an adult male and 75 for adult females. The rate can increase to as much as 200 beats per minute. during extremely active exercise. Resting pulse rates for athletes can be much slower than the normal, 72 to 75 range. Missing just 1 or 2 beats, and you'll be dead. See what's good about this? To understand the anatomy points to a creator. I'm telling you, for a doctor to go through all that stuff and to be blinded by that tells you how powerful the devil is. The God of this world blinded them to the gospel. Lungs. The lungs contain about 300 million little air sacs called alveoli. If the alveoli were flattened out, they would cover an area of about 1,000 square feet. Your lungs are just about like this. You know, if you look at it, if you contain 1,000 square feet, that's pretty interesting to me. Without lungs and accessory air pumping equipment, you could not survive more than a few minutes. How about kidneys? Mike's got a problem with that, praying about that. The body of the average adult contains 79 pints of water, which is about 65% of a person's weight. Each kidney contains some 1 million individual filters, and between them, the 2 kidneys filter an average of about 8 quarts of blood every hour. The waste products are expelled as urine at the rate of about 3 pints a day. Blood. In general, the larger you are, the greater your blood volume. A 155-pound person has about 11 pints of blood. The body's entire blood supply washes through the lungs about once every minute. Human red blood corpuscles are created by bone marrow at the rate of about 2 million corpuscles per second. Each lives for 120 to 130 days. In a lifetime, bone marrow creates about half a ton of red corpuscles. All this is supposed to be an accidental, according to evolutionists. How about your skin? The body's largest organ is the skin. In an adult man, it covers about 20 square feet. A woman has about 17 square feet. The skin is constantly flaking away and being completely replaced by new tissue about once every 4 weeks. On average, each person sheds about 105 pounds of skin and grows about 1,000 completely new outer skins during a lifetime. Without skin, you would be in an agony and die. Makes sense? Apaches knew how to put you in agony and let you die. Anyway, stomach wasn't PC, was it? Digestion is a precarious balancing act between the actions of strong acids and powerful bases. The stomach's acids are strong enough to dissolve zinc, yet they are prevented from destroying the stomach lining by bases in the stomach. To avoid damage, the cells of the stomach lining are replaced quickly. 500,000 cells are replaced every minute. And the whole stomach lining every 3 days. Now, some people's minds will think of this stuff, and some kids will go almost insane. I can remember at school, I was at school for a little while before I quit a few times, but anyway, while I was in there, they showed me this picture and, you know, of this microscope, and, you know, the stuff that was on your body. That took me almost a year to get over. Because they would say when you itch, when your eyes itch, you know, then they show all these little things. It was ugly looking suckers, man. The invisible world or something was called. Man, every time I itched, I'd think of them little suckers all over my body. And we pamper it, don't we? We think it's so pretty. Amen. The retina. The retina at the back of the eye covers only 1 square inch, yet contains about 137 million light-sensitive cells, 130 million rod cells for black and white vision, and 7 million cone cells for color vision. All that in 1 square inch of surface. The focusing muscles of the eye adjust about 100,000 times a day. To exercise the leg muscles to the same extent will require walking 50 miles. The optic nerve contains about 1 million nerve fibers. And they just all of a sudden just came together, right? And they do that all the time. And they, you know, just perfectly. The ear. The smallest human muscle is in the ear. It is a little over 0.04 inch long. Amazingly, yet urgently needed, the cells in the part of the inner ear where sound vibrations are converted to nerve impulses have no blood vessels. Instead, they are fed by a constant bath of fluid